So welcome back, we're from IGL Machinery. So we've had the chainsaws out for a day, cutting loads of dead rubbish and got loads of crap in there. So normally after you've done a lot of work with your little chainsaw or whatever you use, it's good to get in here, get the cover off, clean it all out. Not too bad. Obviously the longer you leave this, the worse it's going to get and the worse your saw's going to run. So we're just going to scrape all this out. Air lines are handy as well. If you do a lot of this sort of work, you can just get this all blown out. Get our bar and chain off. Obviously give this a good wipe down as well. So we got them blown off. And get your chain off. Give the bar a bit of a wipe down. So what you want to do, you want to check the insides of the rails. Get some kind of thin tool. And you see all the crap coming out of there, look. So if you've got a sprocket on the end, work down from the sprocket, don't push muck into the sprocket. Obviously there's no sprocket on this one. So yeah, run that all down. And again, these are your little oil holes. You need to make sure they're free of debris. If your chain's not oiling, it's getting hot, and you're seeing signs of your bar getting hot, discolouring, chances are it's not oiling, so check these oil holes. Some saws it oils through these passageways here, so yeah, make sure all cleaned out. You can check your bar for squareness as well, make sure your rails have been wearing evenly. These will wear down over time, so as long as it's not too bad, this one's okay. And there are special tools you can buy to flatten these out, or you can just, if you're careful with the hand file and you've got a little square, you can hand file it square again. Let's just have a quick inspection of your chain, make sure there's no obvious damage. If you're finding your chains doesn't go into your bar rails very easily, you might have the chain might have come off and it could have caused little burrs on these links here. These are the links to the underside. So yeah, just have a feel if there's anything sticking out. It's a bit tedious, so you might need to get a little small file and file them all off. It's a pain in the ass when that happens. But yeah, this chain's new anyway, so yeah, it's pretty good. And again, it's just sprung mounted chain tensioner as well. So when you want to put the chain back on, just push it all the way to the back and it will click in. And these little tabs here, push them down and it flicks the spring back. Yeah, and make sure everything's on the sprocket. Make sure the chain's on before you put this on. I like to just give it a little push up on the bar and then tighten that up. You should obviously take your battery out as well before you do any work. Now these chains are a bit awkward to sharpen, it's quite hard to get in there. What I do is I get a little mini vise, turn it upside down, so the thing's not in the way. I'm just going to use one of these 2-in-1s today. Yeah, make sure you get the right file size for the chain you're using. This is a 1/4 inch chain. I've done the conversion. I'll leave a link at the end if you want to watch that. Cuts a lot smoother than the factory chain it comes with. So yeah, if we're sharpening all these side here, you get the round file in the cutter, and this flat square file will sharpen the depth gauges and the angle. You obviously don't want it all like that, you want the line of the bar lining up with these, if you see. So that should be parallel with the line of your chain. And what you want to do is push down on it, make sure that is definitely filing the rakers to get a good firm grip. I see people sharpen these one-handed. I don't think that's very good in my opinion. You're not going to get much pressure. I mean, you can do it, but it's a lot better when you can get two hands on it, one either end. A lot of people will put a marker pen or something where on the one you start on. I don't really bother. I just go by look, so I can see the ones I've sharpened and I haven't sharpened. You've got to try and keep this level as well. Don't be putting any serious angles on it. About levels. Pretty good. Slight up, if you're going to do anything, do a slight up tilt, but yeah, I'd stay level. Try and keep it in a straight line as well when you're filing. Don't sort of file and then go off a bit wonky. Just try and do nice straight strokes. Don't worry about counting strokes too much either. Just get it till it's sharp. If you're doing a light touch up, especially with these sort of tools, then yeah, you probably should roughly count, but it's not that critical. So my only issue with these types of sharpeners, it doesn't really allow you to get down into this gullet of the tooth. That's that bottom little bit there. So sometimes you create a bit of a, people refer to as a ski jump. So you want a little hook, basically from the bottom of this chain, you want a little baby C up to that top corner. That one's pretty good actually, that's not too bad. You don't want a crazy hook. I'll get a lovely diagram for you. So imagine that's your cutter. So that's too much of a hook. That's hardly any hook, where you've got this kind of like a jump. And you want somewhere in between, so you've got like a my angles are all off, but you get the idea. The more aggressive the hook is from the bottom, the grabbier the chain will be, and the less it's going to hold up, because it's going to be quite a fragile top edge. So you want somewhere in between. And this is one of the biggest things, that once this clicks with what shape the tooth needs to be, it will transform your sharpening, because you'll be able to have a look at one and you'll be able to diagnose yourself whether, see, you'll be able to diagnose yourself what it needs. Again, that's probably got a little bit too much gullet, but it should be alright on these little saws. So now we do all the other side. So just remember, you need to keep pressure down. If you don't put enough pressure down, the rakers, I find, will not file down. And then what happens when the rakers don't file down properly is this round file will sit too far up on that tooth and create that jump I was talking about in my little diagram. So it will eliminate your hook. So you need to make sure, give enough pressure down so this round file is in in under that cutter. Every now and then as well, get a wire brush and just brush off the crap on the files. Again, the first sharpenings of a new chain are normally some of the hardest to do, because you're creating a new cutting profile. Some of these awkward chains don't work either, like this one, because it's a join chain, it's a weird size. It hasn't got a little cutter to rest on, so I need to hand file this one. So there we go, we've got a nice little hook. Once you understand what shape the tooth needs to be, it will transform your filing. So you need to just make sure you've got that little baby C every time. And again, if you're a beginner, these aren't bad. I don't really use them that often. I normally stick to hand filing, but yeah, certainly for beginners this is a very good tool. So yeah, give the machine a general dust off and clean off. Anytime it doesn't cut very well, get in here, do this. See, that should make this tool last a lot longer. You won't be getting annoyed with it not cutting properly and stuff. And that's your maintenance and sharpening on that. I've done numerous videos on this as well, converting this to the 1/4 inch pitch chain. Alright, cheers for watching.